Hello and welcome to today's news on Vanguard Live. My name is Damola Okunshaki. Here on today's news, we will give in-depth analysis on some of the stories making waves across Nigeria. And this morning on the paper review, I'm starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with manufacturers threatened as CRR rises 45.5% to 13.81 trillion naira. Trend threatens banks' intermediary role. That's coming from analysts. Companies' access to credit curbed as cost of money rises. You can see that on page 19. And right below the banner, there's a picture showing a jubilant crowd as they received Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf back to Kano State after the Supreme Court judgment. It took his convoy 12 hours to reach its destination from Kaduna State. And a picture right below the leading story showing illegal oil bunkering vessel MT Kali impounded by a combined team of personnel of Tantita Security Services Limited, TSSL, and men of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, at a Pennington oil field in Bayelsa State on Thursday. And on page 25, Catholic bishops decry high level of corruption in Nigeria. Remembrance Day, governors drum support for armed forces, families of fallen heroes. And on page 16, Owella Kemfer says, no grief for anybody, which simply means that youth should be critical, refuse to be bullied, stand on the right, and not submit to oppression. On page 9, Supreme Court verdict, within trade of Kano, that's according to APC. On page 6, one of abducted 6 sisters die in captivity. Armed men abducted 45 passengers in 3 commercial buses in Benue. Stories above on page 8. Ohaneze youth praise Tinubu flame media trial of Beta Edu. Lastly on Vanguard, Nigeria can't make progress without a true federalism. That's according to Obong Atta. You can see that on page 14 of Vanguard. Now the Punch. Punch is leading with 7 major marketers get approval to sell Dangote fuel. NNPC retail, Total, MRS, others make list, await commercial terms. Ipman, Petroan to meet Dangote refinery this week, high marketing deals. Passengers stranded as BRT drivers down tolls overpay. You can see that on pages 6 and 2. Ex-minister's friend offers to pay 50 million naira for adopted Abuja girls. You can see that on pages 4 and 5. Stories above the banner on page 6. EFCC, Nigerians want ex-governors to account for 772 billion naira. Lastly, on Punch, Tinubu's trips got 3.4 billion naira in 6 months. That's according to Governor Spend. Now the Guardian. Guardian is leading with Southeast states. 10 trillion naira legacy industries rot away amid low earnings and unemployment. You can see that on page 6. And then on editorial page 16, President Tinubu, stop corruption before it kills Nigeria. I spent 500 million naira defending my election, says Abia federal lawmaker. How age restriction worsens nation's unemployment crisis. You can see that on page 4. Sarah asked Akpabio Abbas to slash self-serving 344.85 billion naira NAS budget. You can see that on page 5. And lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, Agric Finance budget ministers meet on food inflation. You can see that on page 5. And the Nation is leading with a Supreme Court verdict. APC didn't trade off Kano on play 2. It is purely a legal matter. Victoria's governors hail Tinubu's non-interference, and there's a statement here that says if there is the suspicion of interference in the arm of government, Friday's ruling and exposition on the part of the judiciary also did show that they are essentially independent. Now on page 4, government to change approach on discos funding. Electricity distributors fail to pay dividend in 12 years. President gets kudos for anti-graft moved. Don't give Beta Edu media trial. And here we have LIRS affirms now January 31st deadline for annual tax return submission. Stories above the banner. Edo 2024, APC invites Oshemole, Izeyamu, others. You can see that on page 5. And lastly on the Nation, Westful Eagles fail to win AFCON opener. Shocker for Ghana and Egypt. You can see that on page 38. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break as our guests. We will be analyzing the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damnola Ogunshaki. Joining me to analyze the front pages of the dailies this morning is Mr. Aliu Mohammed. He's the CEO of Magnets Communication, former editor of Daily Times and Concord newspaper. Good morning, Mr. Aliu.
Good morning, Damnola. How are you?
I'm fine. Let's start with Financial Vanguard this morning. And as more multinational companies exit Nigeria over exchange rate volatility, economists and other investment analysts fear that more businesses may face similar state as the amount of bank deposits with CBN, otherwise known as cash reserve ratio, the CRR, soared by 45.51% in the 9 months to September 2023. What's your take on this, sir?
Well, it is unfortunate that we have found ourselves in this situation as a nation. When you talk about a CRR, the cash reserve is for emergencies. For emergencies where the central bank pick cash from and feed the banks for effective circulation of the currency. If there is a deficit in that, then we are in trouble, because most of the companies that are folding up because they don't have access to cash, and again because of the rate of exchange in Nigeria, exchange of a naira to the dollar, because they rely mostly on the importation of their raw materials. Unfortunately, they are unable to access the dollar, and they are having problems in production. Before some of them left, they were producing at less than 20% capacity, and there is no how a company will produce at less than 20% capacity and make profit. So the earlier the government take a decision to check this anomaly, the better. We need trusted financial experts to advise the central bank on the way out of this mess. As at today, it is difficult to even access cash in Nigeria. Since even during the Yuletide, it was difficult to access cash. You go to any ATM now, the only thing you do at the ATM points is to transfer money. You can't take cash. All the ATM points in all the banks are dry. And you walk into the bank, you say you want cash, they will give you 2,000, 5,000. That is, it is bad. Let us sit down and look at what is wrong and find a solution to it. We've talked about over-dependence on the dollar for our trade activities. That should be de-emphasized too. You don't dollarize your economy when you spend naira. If your economy is indicated in dollars, then we have a problem, because the national currency is naira, not dollars. So again, we have to arrange and ensure that we earn more dollars in terms of foreign economic activities. The only organization that earns dollars for the country today is the NNPC. What is happening to our gas reserve? Nobody is exploiting it. We only sell crude. If you fly from Lagos to Port Harcourt, you will see huge balls of fire. That is gas flaring. The gas that are being wasted, that could be tapped and used to generate income for the economy. We have to look into all that and end the present cash crunch that is facing Nigerians. It is unfortunate that today $1 is over 1,000 naira. I grew up in the system where the naira was stronger than the dollar. But today the dollar is far stronger than the naira. We must reverse that trend immediately because the economy cannot withstand it. Our economy cannot withstand it. Thank God we are looking inward now in the production of refined petroleum products. Dangote refinery is coming up. I encourage the government to also back other private refineries to start production. So we will be self-sufficient in the area of fuel importation. And the dollar that goes with the importation of finished products can be used for other purposes.
All right, finally, like you said, Dangote refinery has started. They announced the commencement of production of automotive gas oil, also known as diesel, and jet A1 or aviation fuel on Friday. And seven major oil marketers in Nigeria, they've registered with Dangote for the lifting and distribution of refined petroleum product produced by the plant. Now, what's your take on this? Because Nigerians now, if you go on social media, they've been talking about it that this might actually help the economy a little.
Yes, they are right. You see, we've always advocated that we should have local refineries. I'm happy that Dangote refinery has commenced production. Like I said, we must encourage other refineries too that have been licensed the way Dangote has been encouraged, so that they can also commence operations in no distant future. If we have 4, 5, 6 refineries, private or government refineries, then we are getting out of this crisis of dollar. We have crude oil. We've said crude oil to countries at say 5 trillion, and we use over 6 trillion to import, or more than half of that sum to import refined petroleum products into the country. It is one of the reasons why we cannot, why government cannot readily discharge its duties the way it should. Look at dollar. Dollar is now 1,000 naira, over 1,000 to a dollar. It is killing. We need to ensure that we have more refineries working. We've been told that Port Harcourt refinery is also up and doing now. By the time we have locally produced refined products, then we are up and going. So it is a great thing that Dangote refineries has started working. It will come out with diesel and aviation fuel. I am sure in the next few days the cost of diesel will come down. Hopefully the cost of diesel should come down and the cost of aviation should come down. Aviation fuel, sorry, should come down, and there must be a corresponding reduction in the cost of flights. To go to Abuja now, you need to have not less than 250,000. 250,000. One way is 120, depending on the airline that you are taking. That is humongous. So we need to have a corresponding decrease in the cost of flights, locally and internationally. So it's a good thing that we have Dangote refineries coming up, and then I hope very soon Nigerians will give a sigh of relief in terms of petroleum product. I mean, what is it? Petrol too, when they start producing petrol.
But some people are worried that the price might not be affected at all because crude oil is also priced in dollars. So what will be the difference? Will Nigeria enjoy low cost, or will we still be the same?
From what I read,
internationally,
the federal government has decided to allocate crude produced in Nigeria to a Nigerian refinery. I doubt if government will want to sell crude oil to a Nigerian refinery in dollars. If that is done, it will be a great disservice to the common man on the street, because it means the situation will not change. because all of us have been looking forward to the takeoff of local refineries and hope that when they take off, there will be a corresponding reduction in the cost of petroleum products. I pray that will happen. But if government decide to say we are selling to these local refineries in dollars the way we sell to other countries, they are not helping this economy. That will not help the economy.
Having the Dangote refinery as the only working refinery in Nigeria, is it advisable? Is it something that is okay? Because that is going to be the only person determining the price of oil in
If you
Nigeria.
look at the track record of Dangote, it thrives on monopoly. And like I said, other private refineries have been licensed. Government must ensure that they get the same kind of support that was given to Dangote for all these private refineries to take off. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. So we must ensure that this support goes round. Government has given tremendous support to Dangote for the takeoff of that refinery. The same support should be extended to other refinery owners. Dangote is not the only man in Nigeria that owns refineries. We have one refinery in Niger Delta, one in Edo State, and some others spread over the country. And I even heard that BUA is setting up a refinery somewhere in the north. So the government must extend the same support that was extended to Dangote to all those refineries. If they have such tremendous backing as they give to Dangote, then in no time we will solve the problem of high cost of petroleum products in Nigeria.
All right, let's move away from that. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Fayode Dangote, has said that no police officer is permitted to search the phones of any Nigerian. And this is not the first time we are hearing that. Most of these police officers are searched because of cyber crimes and all that. But this is not the first time we're hearing that. According to that, people are still complaining that their phones are being searched on the roadside.
We just said it, that is not the first time. It's been said almost every time that the police is not permitted to search anybody's phone. But I want to put myself out as somebody that has been stopped by the police, a policeman with an AK-47 asks me to bring my phone. Will I say no? The same police will tell you that when you are in front of an armed policeman, you must obey him. A lot of these errant policemen are drunk on duty. So it is difficult for somebody that has been stopped by an armed policeman to say, no, you can't search my phone. You will get a slap, or he gets angry and comes the gun. What will you do? So the police itself needs to educate its members against searching people's phone. Charity should begin at home for the policemen that are saying this. They should educate all those officers that they must never search people's phones. It is difficult for people to enforce that law. Like I said, I'm driving and two policemen stops me. Oga, can I have your phone? Will I say no? It is difficult. They will get angry. Especially if it is at night. Then you run the risk of being shot and being labeled an armed robber. So my advice is that the police itself should educate and enlighten its officers against searching people's phone. That's how to solve that problem.
You talked about drunk policemen. What should they do as security officers drunk on duty?
See, in every society, you have what they call bad eggs. I'm not condoning the police as an organization. We have some bad eggs among them. The police will have to ensure that these bad eggs are separated from the good ones. Because if you have a bad egg among others, it can spoil the other eggs. So the police itself have a lot of job to do. They must try and know those officers among them that are involved in criminal activities. Just like I said about somebody stopping you, you know the way Nigeria is at night. Some of us move around at night and we get stopped. Once they say stop, what you do is greet them because be courteous to them, greet them, put on your inner light, and let them see your face. After doing all that, if they now want to be nasty, then you must be convinced that you have done the best you can do to help them do their jobs. So the police itself need a lot of reorientation to be done for all the officers of the force in this country. Don't search people's phones. You are not empowered to do that. If they know that, they will stop it. But it is difficult, like I said, for citizens to want to enforce that law. When the policeman stops you and says, give me your phone, and you are seeing a gun, you will have the temerity to say no. No, you give the phone to him because the first law is that of survivor. If after searching the phone you find yourself alive, you can now press a charge against him. You can now go to the nearby police station to report him. There are lines now where you can report such cases to the police. But not that they will ask you to bring your phone and you say no at that point. It could lead to anything. Somebody could get killed in the process. So there is need for police itself to educate its officers, the rank and file, on the need to refrain from checking people's phones.
All right, lastly, let's quickly look at this. On Tuesday night, December 26, 2023, bandits abducted Alhaji Monso Al-Kadriya and his 6 children from their home in Abuja. And during the abduction, the kidnappers shot dead Alhaji Monso's brother, that's Abdul Fatai, who had earlier alerted the police. Now, one of the daughters of the man killed her. Yes, they killed her because they could not get the required ransom. Now, this incident has sparked outrage across Nigeria with the hashtag Najiba and her sisters trending on social media. What's your take on this?
It's a sorry situation. From what I heard, people tried as much as possible to get the money requested for. I was even told that the former minister gave out 20 million to pay the ransom. If we have this situation, assuming that we are so lawless and we have contributed to the happening of this kind of criminal activity, you are talking with people, they said they will bring money, and you went ahead to kill a lady, one of the children, one of the girls that you are detaining. It is the height of insensibility. It is, I don't know how to describe it. It is heart-aching that such a thing could happen in this society that we call Nigeria, where we have the police, we have the DSS, we have the Navy, we have the Army, we have the security network to prevent this kind of crime, and it is happening at the nation's headquarters. I mean, the federal government capital. It is disturbing. We must ensure that we put a stop to killings in Nigeria. Look at what happened in Jos. A lot of people were killed. I watched the video of a woman carrying her child. She was shot. The young boy started crying. One of the bandits used his gun to smash his head. Do they have blood flowing in their veins? It is callous. I feel very worried. I feel very disturbed about all these killings. Why would a human being start killing fellow human being for whatever reason? Is it religious? Is it to make money? After collecting that ransom, will you be able to sleep and spend that money to eat? I don't know where those people, they must be blood sucking demons, all these people. It is sad, it is unfortunate. Government must put a stop to these killings across the country. The north is not safe, the east is not safe, even down west. When you are moving around, you have to be watching your back. We should put a stop to all this if we know that human lives are precious and are not meant to be destroyed by fellow human beings. I am saddened by the sudden death of that lady at a time when the family and friends were running around to pay over 20 million to these sons of the dog. It is unfortunate. It is sad. Government must put a stop to this.
All right, let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. And the first person speaking this morning is Mrs. Mrs. says, come on, don't tell me that men lust after them even on screen. So why can't you marry an actress? And Mr. says, if I catch her kissing a guy, all she needs to do is to tell me they are rehearsing and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yes, that's a good excuse. So the wife is an actress, right? So then you must have a way of being patient.
Yes.
No matter the situation, he finds his wife.
Thank you, Mr. Liu, for joining us this morning. And this is where we have to draw the curtain. My name is Damola Ogushaki. Do well to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. Today is Monday. Enjoy the rest of your day.